Guys, I appreciate everybody coming this afternoon. We're going to have kind of a joint effort here. I'm going to let Sheriff Jolly lead off with the way this whole thing started, and then I'll pick it up when it comes over into our area.
About 12 o'clock yesterday on the 17th of August, our 911 center received a phone call that there was a young lady in the yard that was non-responsive. Deputies responded. When they got there, they identified a young lady by the name of Nicole Elliott in her front yard outside of Waverly Hall on 208 with a single gunshot wound to her head. Follow-up investigation revealed that about 3 minutes after 10 in the morning, she was involved in a domestic disturbance with an individual named Andrew Roy Harris, during which time it appears that Mr. Harris used a 9mm revolver, semi-automatic weapon, and shot her once in the head, after which time he fled the area and returned to an area he was familiar with. Miss Nicole Elliott lived outside of Waverly Hall on 208. She was involved in a relationship with Andrew Roy Harris, who is a 36-year-old white male. Miss Elliott is a 35 or was a 35-year-old white female who lived in Waverly Hall. Mr. Harris had a residence of 23 Ivy Lane in Phoenix City. When he fled the area, he returned to Phoenix City. We contacted Russell County, and then they assisted us, and I will let Sheriff Heath Taylor take over and let him tell you what they did to assist us and to the point where we're at now.
So this yesterday we started working with Harris County, who had developed their leads and had arrest warrants for murder for Mr. Harris. At that time, we worked with them all night. Today, we got a tip through the Phoenix City Police Department that Mr. Harris was staying at a local hotel here in Phoenix City. The investigators, along with the Harris County investigators and Phoenix City officers, went to the Days Inn here on 431. They actually were in the process of removing people that were next to the room that we knew Mr. Harris to be in case something were to happen. We had been the entire time we had been looking for Mr. Harris. The rumors were that he was gonna either kill himself or try to make the sheriff's deputies kill him by suicide by cop. So we were trying to get people away from his room. At that point, one of the investigators, or several of the investigators, heard a single gunshot. We went into his room at that point and found Mr. Harris laying on the bed with a single gunshot wound to his head. He was still holding a 9mm semi-automatic weapon. At that point, everything was secured. We called medical. Medical got there. We tried to save Mr. Harris, and I was informed that at 1:02 p.m. was his time of death. That was at the hospital, and so they did transport him to the hospital in Columbus, and so we have been diligently trying to notify his next of kin of what has transpired, and we were successful in doing that. Mr. Harris, during our investigation helping Harris County in his search, we know that he has several charges both in Georgia and Alabama for domestic violence in his background. I think he may have actually been on bond currently for a domestic violence case in the past. There's been several cases with Miss Elliott and other females as well. You know, this is a tragic end on both sides. These kids were super young, 30 and 36, and you know, you hate to see that type of ending for her and her family, as well as you know, Mr. Harris and of course his family. I think he was a little bit estranged from his family, but they're still family and they still loved him, and so we will be presenting the case to the grand jury as a self-inflicted suicide, and I'm sure we will work with Harris County on getting the ballistics from our weapon where he used here. It appears to potentially be the same weapon that he used in Georgia, so we'll work with them on getting all those ballistics matched up.
Sheriff Taylor will confirm that domestic violence in any form is a tragedy, but we're seeing more and more of that in this day and time, and it's just something that we hate to see, especially when it ends in this way. Miss Elliott, Nicole Elliott, will leave behind a 15-year-old daughter. She'll be 15 in September, and a 10-year-old son and an 8-year-old son. And to make that notification yesterday to those 3 kids that their mother is no longer with us was heart-wrenching. It's never an easy thing to do, but when you tell 3 young kids that their mother is no longer here, it's heartbreaking.
We'll try to answer some questions for you if we can. So if anybody has any at this point.
What led up to this, you think? What was the issue between the two, I guess?
We understand that they had been arguing that the night of the 16th that Mr. Harris had given out of his medication, and it appears that he had, it looks like he had tried to take the middle boy's medication and had taken it to start abusing some medication that the young boy had had. And it caused an argument between Miss Elliott and him that had spilled over to the next morning.
And she was found outside in the yard?
It was outside in the yard, yes.
And who lived at the house?
Miss Elliott was renting the house.
Were the kids there too? Or?
No, the kids had already been taken to school, and she had returned home from taking the kids to school. The 2 younger kids, the oldest daughter had spent the night with her father, and but the 2 younger boys, the 10-year-old and the 8-year-old, had been taken to school by the mother, and she had returned home. And when she did, it continued into an argument, and apparently is when he pulled a weapon and followed her in the yard. We heard voices on the ring camera where she had yelled, "Don't do it." We heard the gunfire, and then we heard her call his name out, don't do it," and called his name out on the ring camera.
And do Elliott and Harris share any children or?
No.
How did y'all know he was at the hotel again? Did he check in at, under his name, and someone there noticed the name?
Under his name, yes.
Did the people at the hotel recognize the name?
He had checked in at another hotel earlier and that day before, and when we were circling that hotel, he saw law enforcement and ran out and jumped a fence and went into a wooded area, and we had looked all night for him, and he went to another hotel in that evening hours.
Spoke with people at the Chevron restaurant. They mentioned that they saw him purchasing snacks shortly before SWAT surrounded. Did that play a role in catching him today?
You may be a witness.
Not me. People at the Chevron, not me.
We got a tip, and I don't even know if we know who that came from, but that he was there at that day's end. Actually, Phoenix City Police Department is who got the tip. They called us and told us, and then we confirmed that he was there and what room he was in, and so that's how we got to the day's end.
You can imagine we were getting all kind of phone calls all during the night. Some were legit, some were, we think we saw him, and we were just following up all night on tips.
And how long would you guys say that, standing outside of the door and approaching him, how long did that situation take place, or was it more so?
You'd have to ask SWAT team
No,
that.
I think from the time, you talking about from the time we got to the hotel, from the time we arrived at the hotel to the time we kicked in the door, the card that we had been given by the office didn't work. And so by the time we kicked in the door was 10 minutes. From the time we got there to the time we went in and found him. We were in the hallway when we heard the shot. And then we kicked the door in, and he was already laying on the bed.
Once you hear a shot, the exigent circumstances cause you to go on in.
Yeah, we didn't know if somebody else was in there or if he was by himself. We had no idea at that point.
No questions I have, anything else?
How long after she was found dead that you already had a suspect in mind? Was that pretty quick? Or?
We knew from a prior incident that he was a pretty good suspect. He was pending charges from a prior domestic disturbance against her. So we were focusing in on him pretty quick. And then we had the Ring camera that we heard her call his name out.
Gotcha. Did he have any record in Harris County or Russell County? Or just other places he had the
He had
criminal
two
record?
prior incidents here. He had one in Lee County for a DUI, and then he had one in another state on family violence.
But nothing in Harris County? That you-
Yeah, the one in Harris County.
Oh, okay.
He's out on bond in that one.
Okay.
So it had been multiple instances where Harris County had came out to kind
He,
of calm down a situation.
no,
that
calm
came
down,
up.
he was out on bond. He'd been in jail.
Oh, so y'all been called to that same house before?
Yes.
With this, oh, okay. Prior to this?
Yes,
Okay.
You said there's a pending case against him for this victim.
yes.
Oh,
And others.
And others.
And other girls. I don't know that they're still pending on the other females, but he has
He'd been
other
arrested.
domestic violence charges in his background with different females. I don't know that they're still pending.
They're not.
This case with her, there was a pending case that he was
Under indictment
out
for.
on, yeah, out on bond.
Would you say more than 5 girls or less than 3?
I would say more than 3, probably less than 6. Several states.
Do you know, was he under any type of restraining order?
No. In fact, she had helped get him out. That's the problem with domestic violence. Women are victims even though they don't want to admit they're victims in domestic violence.
She bailed him out?
She did not bail him out, but she did go to the bondsman and help on the secondary bond.
Any messages for your community or the families involved in this?
The victim's family, there'll never be closure, even though there is some, I'm a hardcore conservative, there is some justice. And I say that. There'll be people that'll criticize me for that, I'm sure, and I'll take the heat. For Mr. Harris's family, there is no reason other than the fact he had an anger management problem, and he took it out on the females that he was in relationships with, and he never sought or got the right help, which is a shame, and that might be a failure in our system. Sheriff Taylor may want to address that.
Well, I mean, I think that domestic violence is just something that we're dealing with on a daily basis in our community, and you know, does it always arise to this level? No, but certainly we're dealing with it on both ends, the male and the female side, and it's a tragedy. And so we need to get the individuals who have the anger management problems help, and mental health is a huge issue in our community, and it's, you know, there's no question that the majority of the people in my facility are probably Sheriff Jolly's as well, are mental health patients, and if they're not, they need to be.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you know, the mental health status plays into this whole domestic, you know, violence issue, and the whole cause and root of it is a lot of mental health issues.
And there's no doubt that Mr. Harris was on medication, but was he abusing it? Was he taking it right? I don't know. And I may never know now.
Any other issues?
Go
or
forth.
questions?
Go forth and sin no more, my children.
Thank you. Here's a photo, guys, of him.